Okay, now greatest integer function. Pretty important point, and there are a lot of key takeaways that are going to be here. Be very much ready with your pen and paper, right? You have to be very, very quick. What is it there? Okay, so when I talk about greatest integer function, that's how we write it. Y equal to bracket x. Or you sometimes people ask me that, sir, how will I decide whether this bracket is actually denoting the greatest integer function? In short, I call it as GIF. All of us call it as GIF. Okay, so we call this as GIF. So people say that, sir, how will we come to know that this bracket denotes GIF? If it is the question of an examination paper, in examination paper, every examination authority takes care of this fact that if it is representing GIF, then they clearly mention that this bracket denotes greatest integer function. They will assure you, right? They will clearly mention this. So make sure, unless until it is not mentioned, you are not supposed to assume it to be GIF, all right? Otherwise, I've seen that many students, they find it as bracket X. They said, oh, sir, this is GIF. No, it has to be written into the question. Okay, so just be careful. Now, here I am teaching GIF, I am teaching greatest integer function, so I will not be writing that again and again. Okay, so I'm saying this is greatest integer function. So there is an audio file also here, all right, other than the text file that you see here. Okay, so this is called greatest integer less than or equal to x. What does it mean? Read carefully. Statement: greatest integer less than or equal to x. Okay, let's say if I have to talk about GIF of 2.5. So GIF of 2.5. So greatest integer less than or equal to 2.5. If you take this definition, this is greatest integer less than or equal to 2.5. So if I denote it on the number line, let's say this is 0, 1, 2, 3. Somewhere here I'll have this 2.5. So greatest integer less than or equal to 2.5. So lesser than 2.5, I have many integers, 0, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2, etc. Among all those, which one is the largest? This is the one which is largest. What is that? Simply 2. Right. This is the one which is the largest. So I'll say that GIF of 2.5 is nothing but 2. Understood? Sure? Okay. Now let's say somebody says that if I want to have the GIF of 0, or let's say GIF of 1. So when I go for GIF of 1, what is GIF of 1? Or let's say, okay, GIF of 1. See, greatest integer less than or equal to 1. Plot the number line. So 1, 2, 3, 0, minus 1. Right. Greatest integer less than or equal to 1. So 1 or lesser than that. There are many integers. So greatest integer less than or equal to 1. So lesser than 1 or equal to 1, there are many integers, minus 1, 0, 1, and so on. Which one is the largest? 1 itself. What is my answer? Simply that. As simple as it sounds. Sure. Let's say, if I want to talk about, let's say, the GIF of minus of 2.5, or rather minus of 1.5. So just previous integer. You just have to look at it in this way. If it is an integer, you can report that integer directly. If it is not an integer, you just have to look for the just previous integer. So what is the previous integer before 2 minus 1.5? It's minus 2. Let's verify it. So lesser than minus 1.5, if I plot it on number line, so we get this as minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, etc. Minus 1.5 will be somewhere here. So lesser than minus 1.5, there are many integers, minus 2, minus 3, and so on. Which one is the largest? Minus 2. Greatest integer less than or equal to x. So in nutshell, if you want to just remember it quickly, if you are inserting an integer in the greatest integer function or GIF, it will report you the same integer. Whether it is minus 2, whether it is 5, whether it is 7, it will return you the same integer. But if you are inserting any number other than integer, then it will give you just previous integer to that on the number line. So for 2.5, what is the previous integer? 2. Right? What is it integer before minus 1.5? Minus 2. Just previous integer. So before minus 1.5, what is the previous integer? Minus 2. So we report the answer as minus 2. Understood? Sure, this working is clear? Perfect. Now let me quickly draw the graph here. This is what my actual situation is. So I'm erasing everything, all this calculation. I hope this is pretty much sorted for everyone. Okay, so let me quickly do that. Now, as I said, I'll be moving into the intervals now. So let's quickly draw the intervals and I'll be actually moving on to it. Perfect. As we are talking about greatest integer, so let's plot only at the integers, and I have all the demarcation on the integers. Okay, so let's quickly talk about from the first interval 0 to 1. So when x is lying between 0 to 1, every real number which is lying from 0 to 1, let's check out on the number line. 0 till 1. For every real number which is lying from 0 between and before 1, what is the just previous integer? 0. So what can I say? GIF in this interval. So if x is lying from 0 to 1, not including 1, okay, then it implies that GIF of x will become 0. So we got the line y equal to 0 when x is greater than or equal to 0 but less than 1. So this is something which I get. Can you see that highlighted part, the red color one? Right? So this is the GIF graph when x is from 0 to 1. Okay, let's say when x is from 1 to 2, any number from here. What is the previous integer? 1. So from 1 to 2, if I move, what is my y value will become? Y equal to 1. So if I'll say that if x is from 1 to 2, it implies that GIF of x equal to 1, which implies that the line will become y equal to 1. So I need to plot the line y equal to 1. So y equal to 1 is pretty long line, right? But I want it only from 1 to 2. So only this portion here. Are you getting that? Okay. So I'm erasing it so that you should not get confused. So the final graph will be only this part. From 1 to 2. What do I get? Y equal to plus 1. Let's take it for the one negative integer, or rather one negative integer. So when x is from minus 1 to 0, check it on the number line. You take up any real number here from minus 1 to 0. Right? What is the previous integer? Minus 1. So I can say that if x is greater than or equal to minus 1 and less than 0, it implies that GIF of x will become equal to minus 1. Then my y value will become minus 1. I'll plot the line y equal to minus 1. Y equal to minus 1 is nothing but a line parallel to x-axis passing through minus 1. Right? So what do I get it here? I'll get here basically this line. So this portion. Right? Let me draw it quickly. This is the graph that I'm talking about. Can you see the trend here? What I'm getting? Minus 1 to 0. Then 0 to 1. Then 1 to 2. What do I have it here? Looks like I'm actually getting first step, second step, third step. Yes, this is called the step function. It's another name for it. You can remember it. Step function. It's in the step format. And I hope you can now predict the trend. And that's how the final graph will actually look to me. Somewhat like this. So 2 to 3, it will be y equal to 2. From minus 2 to minus 1, it will be y equal to minus 2. And that's how you have to keep it in your mind. Okay. Now, after all this information, there are plenty of information which I've just drawn here. And I hope this many information is also clear to you. And I hope that you're also quickly writing it, right? Just keep on learning and keep on writing it, right? We need a quick speed from here, right? Because there are many things which I have to explain in here. So this is a step function. And for every integer, it reports the same integer. And if it is not an integer, you just have to look for the previous integer to that number, okay, on the number line. And once you're done with this calculation, that's how the graph looks like, which looks like somewhat as a final step function or something. Okay, now, when I want to talk about the domain of it. So as I said, this is nothing but the step function. We call it greatest integer function, or GIF in short, or as I said, we call it as step function. So this is also a name that we give it to it. Step function. Okay, perfect. Now, when I talk about the domain, so what is the domain? Can you see how many values I am taking on the x-axis? All real numbers, man. What's the domain? All real numbers. We choose all real numbers, right? Okay. Now, when I want to have the numbers or like the range, okay, so I'm erasing this calculation also so that you can have more clarity about the domain and range and everything. So I'm inserting all the values, all real values. But every time I'm getting a result only as integer, right? That's why the range will become nothing but as simply y belongs to capital Z or capital I, whatever you call it. So what is my answer? The range will become nothing but set of all the possible integers. So for greatest integer function or step function, what do I have? Domain as all real numbers and range as strictly belonging to integers. Perfect. Sure. Okay, now a pretty much great insight. I hope this information, guys, please quickly note it down. Have all this information, then I'll quickly move ahead. This is good with you? Understood everything? This graph, you have to keep it very clearly in your mind. Okay? Shall we move ahead? Lovely. So, I want to have some more insights into this. What are the more insights that I want to have? Okay, so y equal to GIF of x, greatest integer less than or equal to x, domain x belongs to R, range y belongs to all set of integers. I want to define the certain property here. What are the properties? The very first property, let me quickly show you, right? Before writing the property, you can easily see that. Can you see those solid dots? If I join all these solid dots, what do I have? This is nothing but y equal to x line. Yes. And if you join all the hollow ones, you get the line as y equal to, what are you saying? You just got shift 1 unit on the right hand side. So what is that? That is nothing but y equal to x minus 1. Oh, if you look carefully, what do I have it here? I have a layer of y equal to x and I have a layer of y equal to x minus 1. The entire graph with those red lines, it is clearly sandwiched in between them, right? So I can say that GIF of x is always less than or equal to x minus 1, rather less than or equal to x, because it is below that line y equal to x and there is a solid dot here. So less than or equal to x, but this is greater than x minus 1. So there comes the first property, and the first property says that GIF of x is always less than or equal to x, okay? And it is always strictly greater than x minus 1. Alright, so for your illustration, to have a better diagram and a clean diagram, this is here, the line y equal to x, and the another line which is y equal to x minus 1. See, can you see the dotted line? Because that line is not to be included, right? There's a hollow on that. There's a solid line because that line has to be included. So we get the first property that GIF of any number x always less than or equal to x, but greater than x minus 1. Perfect? Understood? This thought you have to keep in your mind. Like that's how the graph is sandwiched in between them. Sure? Okay. First property. Note it down with the help of the graph. It's more evident. Let's go for the property number 2. It says that GIF of x plus m is equal to GIF of x plus m for any integer m. Let's check it out. I'm taking 2 quick examples, okay? So, let's say if I choose x to be some 2.5 and this is as 3. So what is the GIF of 2.5 plus 3? That will become nothing but GIF of 5.5, and the integer before 5.5 is what? 5. So I can simply report this answer as 5. Good. Let's verify whether the right hand side is correct or not. So what is GIF of x? So according to this should become equal to GIF of 2.5 plus 3. What is GIF of 2.5? So the integer before 2.5 is what? 2 plus 3. What is my result? Oh, they are equal. That's why the general statement is, guys. Okay. Understood the idea? So you don't have to verify it in the examination hall. The property directly says that GIF of GIF of x plus any integer m is equal to GIF of that x plus that integer m. So GIF of x plus m is equal to GIF of x plus m. For example, let's say if they write it that GIF of 2x plus 3, I can always write this as GIF of 2x plus 3. Understood? Okay. And this m could be any integer. It could be negative also. Let's say if I have this as here GIF of 2x minus 7, I can write this as GIF of 2x minus 7. As simple as it sounds. You just have to take that integer out of the GIF. GIF will, that doesn't matter what integer that you're adding. You just have to remove that integer out of that. That's it. It will give you a lot of freedom in solving these things. Okay? Understood? Perfect? Okay. Let's go for the third property. What do I have the third property? This everyone noted down. GIF of x plus m equal to GIF of x plus m, where m can be any integer. Let's talk about the third one. GIF of x plus GIF of minus x equal to 0 if x belongs to integer. So when x is integer, this gives you 0. But when x is not an integer, it gives you minus 1. It's a pretty simple example. Let me take it one by one. For the first one, if I take the example. So let's say if x is an integer, 2. So GIF of 2 plus GIF of minus 2. GIF of 2 is what? 2. GIF of minus 2 is what? Minus 2. So we get 2 plus of minus 2, which is nothing but equal to what? 0. For every integer, this is 0. Sorted. Justified? Sure? Okay, let's talk about the second one. It says that GIF of x plus GIF of minus x equal to minus 1 when x is not an integer. See, these properties are highly important and you'll be going to use it at multiple places. So this is a very important and very crucial session. Please copy all this and just revise it very well, okay? Just keep all this into formula notebook and all and arrange it very regularly, very properly. Let's do it for the second one. So let's say if I have GIF of minus of 1.1.7 plus GIF of minus of 1.7. So what is GIF of 1.7? It's 1. What is GIF of minus 1.7? So integer before minus 1.7 on the number line, minus 2. So 1 plus minus 2 will give you what? Minus 1. A simple justification. Very simple justification. Understood?